we'll see how we feel about having those two discussion questions at the end when we get that far.
Okay.
I kind of don't want to do too much until people figure out how to get into the discussion. And you know what you and
Right.
I have been through to
Yeah.
learn how to make that. So we have to try to have some one-on-one sessions with people to help them figure that out. But anyway, it's
Okay.
6:41, and I have kind of made a big deal about starting on time and ending on time. So why
Right.
don't we go ahead and start? Um, and I just wanted to give a couple of technical notes at the beginning. Um, First of all, I would like to welcome anyone who joins us in the discussion or is watching via YouTube to the National Black Feminist Book Group. My name is Michelle Odom. I'm one of the moderators, and we are joined here by Randie Henderson. We're both members of Black Women's Blueprint, which is bringing this event, bringing this book group to you. A couple of technical notes. Um, if you see toward the top of your screen when you hover, like in the middle, you'll see a little mic button. If you could keep that on mute until it's time for you to speak, then that will help to reduce any background noise there may be. We've posted links in on the Facebook event page and on the book group page at Google of how to actually go about getting into this discussion. And I have to apologize. I think it's a bit complex. I have been learning the system myself in getting into this, and there are like 10 different ways to set up an event and 10 different ways to invite people to an event, and some of them work better than others, and Google has a variety of glitches going on, and it really has been a little bit more than I anticipated. So I understand if people are having trouble getting in, and what I'm going to do after we finish this session and before we get to next week is try to do one-on-one technical assistance or training with people, um, because I think it takes that. Randie, my co-moderator, we have been since Friday really battling different technical issues. So I understand that, and I hope that you all will be patient with us as we move through this. Okay, I see 4 viewers, but I only see myself and Randie actually in the discussion. So, Randie, why don't you maybe introduce yourself and say a few words about what you hope for this book group experience?
Okay. Hi, my name is Randie Henderson. I am an intern at BWB. I'm a communications educations intern, and I'm really excited to be here. I just graduated from college, so it's nice to be able to invest in some time with Black Women's Blueprint. And I really hope that the book group just inspires growth and educates us, and I'm really excited about the book that we're about to read. So,
Okay, thank you. As I said, I'm Michelle Odom. I'm also a member here and on staff with Black Women's Blueprint, but the book group is actually something I'm doing in my capacity as a member. Um, I am located here in the beautiful Crown Heights, Brooklyn, at our national headquarters on Empire Boulevard. We had a wonderful member meeting here last night. And if anyone is in the area and wants to come by and sit with us on these weekly dates with the book group, you are welcome to do so. We're at 279 in Brooklyn, New York City. I was hoping that we were going to have Farah Tanis, who's the executive director of Black Women's Blueprint, join us this evening, but she is actually participating in a self-care ritual, which she said she encourages all Black feminists to do. And she is downstairs, and our national headquarters is located in a brownstone in Brooklyn, over 3 floors. So she's down in the basement. She said, tell you she's in a meditation pose right now, and she will join us next week. You may see some pictures behind me. This building houses the Museum of Women's Resistance. If you are in New York, you're encouraged to stop by and see that. I just want to tell you a little bit about some of the things Black Women's Blueprint does before we move on to the book group. Some of the things are demanding an end to the disrespect of Black women, protecting our Black girls just as fiercely as we protect our Black boys, working to stop sexual abuse, working to stop rape, working to stop sexual molestation in our homes, schools, and neighborhoods, supporting Black women and girls in healing after sexual abuse, assault, providing education everywhere, using art, music, theater, educating students on college campuses, working in high schools, just taking a stand. A lot of our work really is about sexual violence, but we also have a strong initiative around economic security, which is a related matter. But anyway, you'll hear more about all of that, I'm sure, in the days to come. Okay, do we have anyone? Okay, looks like we have 5 viewers, Randie, but still no one that has come into the Hangout space, which again, it's difficult to do. I'd like to note that the Google site, there's a community on Google called the National Black Feminist Book Group, and we've been posting basically all of the documents that are going to be related to the book group at that site. Some of them are public Google documents, and so you can find all of those links there. In particular, there's a link for community rules that, I hope you can take a look at some point if you're going to be a part of the space. And our purpose or vision is to create a space for exploring ideas from a Black feminist perspective, collectively dissecting themes presented in fiction and nonfiction books. And hopefully by doing that, we can demystify, to some extent, the controversial term feminist. Our broader mission is that Black women will see themselves accurately and act on this knowledge in securing individual and collective spiritual and emotional health. Our format is to independently read 1 chapter per week of the selected text and then analyze it in weekly group sessions. Our schedule is to meet on Tuesdays from 6:30 to 8 p.m. online at Google Hangouts plus YouTube. 10 people are allowed in the Hangout, and as soon as we can help them figure out how to get in, I imagine that will fill up pretty quickly. The conversation that we're having in these meetings broadcast simultaneously on YouTube, and you can watch it there, as it looks like some people are doing. And basically, I think what we're going to try to do is each week we're going to try to ask a different person to facilitate the discussion for that week. Randie's going to start us off next week with chapter 1 and the prologue, I believe. And that involves just writing like a little summary of the chapter and coming up with some questions just to sort of guide the discussion. There's an outline and schedule posted at the Google site, and you can look there and see if there's a particular chapter that you would like to lead. Our book is called At the Dark End of the Street by Dr. Danielle McGuire. At the Dark End of the Street, Black Women, Rape, and Resistance, A New History of the Civil Rights Movement from Rosa Parks to the Rise of Black Power. There's also a link on our Google page for getting to that book. The book group will run from June 3rd, today, through July 29th, and we'll see how things go and whether or not we want to continue on beyond that. We chose this book, At the Dark End of the Street, mostly because it's deeply connected to the work that Black Women's Blueprint does around sexual violence, and it gives a pretty good history, particularly of the Jim Crow period that it covers. So anyone who kind of wants to be involved in this work, I think it's a good background for you to have. In fact, we're working on a situation now in Ohio that has really unseemly similarities to the cases that McGuire describes in her book that happened over 40 years ago. So in the future, we will ask community members to make suggestions. In fact, you can do that now on the Google community page. And, you know, I guess as we get toward the end, we'll set up a doodle or a survey monkey or something and figure out what the consensus is or what the majority is for our next selection. For tonight, rather than jumping right into the discussion on the book, we thought we would have a short discussion on a couple of items, and I guess I'm wondering, Randy, do you have any feeling about that? Okay, now I'm not hearing you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Michelle?
Well, okay, now I hear you.
You can?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry. I
Right.
still had it on mute so you wouldn't hear any background.
Oh, okay.
But I think that I would have loved to have a discussion with more people. We've talked about, at least Beyonce and Bell Hooks, a little through email, and I'm just really interested in hearing everyone else's thoughts about the points that you make in the discussion, in the breakdown of the meeting tonight. So it's really up to you tonight, since you're facilitating, if you want to go ahead with the dialogue about it.
Okay, well, I guess I kind of feel like you, and maybe what we should do, is plan to have that discussion next week.
Okay.
I don't know, or you know, I'm just feeling like people are really going to need technical assistance
Right.
to figure out how to get into the discussion.
Right.
Because we know what we've been through.
Yes, it's taking us, and we struggled today even though we kind of figured it out. So,
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So maybe taking an extra week to figure it out and work with somebody next to you to see if everybody can be pulled in on the Hangout conversation.
Okay, all right. Just, for anyone that's viewing, just what we're talking about is we had planned to delve into two conversations tonight, one of which is about the fact that the author of this book, Danielle McGuire, appears to be a white woman, a white Irish woman, I would guess, from looking at her picture and hearing her name. And so I just wanted to create a little space for us to say whatever we want to say about that, because I know it does evoke some feelings. And, I was hoping we could kind of get that off of our chest early on, so that it's not a constant element of our conversations as the weeks go on. But like Randie, I think we'd rather have that conversation with a few more people. And then the other topic that we wanted to talk a little bit about this week was the bell hooks comment, basically calling Beyonce a terrorist. And who's here with us tonight, Randie actually wrote a blog, which got a lot of response on our Facebook page, called "Why We're Not Going to Write About the Bell Hooks Beyonce Controversy." But we certainly know that it has been a hot topic in social media since it happened. So, but I think it's kind of not doesn't feel right to proceed with the discussion until we can get more people into the Hangout. So I think we should close tonight's session. And I don't know, I think that you should, if you're on Facebook, you can leave a note for us there, on the event page, on our friend page, anywhere. And if you're on Google, you can leave a note for us there at the Black Women's Blueprint page or the book group page. And if you're on YouTube, if you've been viewing this broadcast tonight, there's space on the YouTube page to leave comments. You can leave a comment in any of those locations saying that you would like someone to work with you to figure out how to get into the Hangout, if that's true. And I'm thinking that it's true for at least some people, because quite a few people did respond to the invitation. So I think it's a technical issue that we're looking at. With that said, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in and helping us get this process started. Hopefully we can work out the technical issues in the course of the week, and that when we come back to this location on June 10th, we can go ahead and start with the discussion on the book At the Dark End of the Street. And Randie, any final thoughts?
Well, thank you for everyone who's viewing. I'm really excited about the book. I really, really am. And so I really hope that the discussions in the book club are just full of challenges and conversation and enlightenment. And I'm just really excited for next week. And I hope, and I do believe, that we will figure out the technical difficulties with Google Plus and its Hangouts.
Okay, thank you. All right, good night, everyone. See you next week.